Warning, this video will be a review of a person, not just their work, because they're indistinguishable at this point. That's usually a bad sign, but here we go. An English author, well, there we go, he's English. He's a researcher in the field of parapsychology. Now, pause the video right now at the 21-second mark and go look that up. He proposes the concept of morphic resonance. And this is his story. Now, I'm going to put in morphic resonance, the name of the guy, etc. But here we go. I went through the standard scientific atheist phase when I was about 14. I bought into that package deal of science equals atheism. Okay, this is like saying all scientists are atheists. No. The percentages are fairly high as being atheists, but they're usually acquired atheism, because they find out that they can independently test things that they've been told to believe all their life, whether it was ever in the Bible or not. In fact, a lot of the stuff in the Bible is really not really testable, so that's not a good excuse either. And I know a bunch of Christian people, specifically biologists, but they just say, no, the thing about the ark and the begats is probably bullshit. He studied biology and biochemistry at Clare College, Cambridge. Sheldrake studied philosophy and history of science for a year at Harvard. I'm getting the location. Yeah. Gained a Cambridge PhD in biochemistry for work on plant and hormones. Okay. He has a scientific background and learned things in these areas. Philosophy and history first. Okay. Next. Became a fellow at Clare College. After this, resigned his position at Clare and concluded, after 9 years of intensive study, this is his own statement, the system is circular. It does not explain how differentiation is established in the first place. So did he study paleobiology? Any of this? This is what he studied. I'm going to repeat this. Philosophy and history first of science. Then biochemistry, plant and hormone work. Became a fellow at Clare College. And that caused him to decide the system is circular. And it doesn't explain differentiation in the first place for plants. How did the differentiation start? Okay, now we go on. In India, he worked on the physiology of tropical crops, being drawn back during this time to the Christian path while being in India. My diagnosis, because I'm going to treat this like I'm treating some sort of test animal. He became disillusioned because he didn't get the answers he thought he was looking for. Everybody cue the U2 song. Studying ballistics will not tell you how shooting stars work. You have to study a lot of other things. 1981, he published his book that outlines his concept of morphic resonance. A mysterious telepathy-type interconnection between organisms and the collective memories within the species as his new science of life book. That escalated quickly. He decided that it has to be a telepathy type thing. I've seen people even say that trees communicate telepathically. So let's continue. 2004-2012 was academic director at Holistic Learning and Thinking Program and a visiting professor at Graduate Institute, Bethany, Connecticut. Holistic learning. Okay. You're going to have to look that up now and find out what it meant in 2004 to 2012, because stuff changes all the time. 2005-2010, concurrently, director of Perot-Warwick Project for Psychical Research for research of unexplained human and animal abilities. Now, I'm going to point out something about that. I'm actually kind of a little dinky bit familiar. They take things that have been explained and claim they can't be explained. This is like those videos that say, here are 5 places that are scientifically impossible. But when you actually look up the places, they're not scientifically impossible. It's fucking clickbait. One of the straw man methods for discrediting something is claiming that it can't explain things. You'll notice this as a pattern in a little while. Not just here, but everywhere. But let's get on with it. 2014, a fellow of both the Institute of Noetic Sciences in California, you're going to have to look that up, I'm tired of looking up stuff, and Schumacher College in Devon, England. Again, England. I mean, I'm sorry, just almost as bad as the Australians. End serve joke. Biochemistry would not solve the problem of why things have the basic shape they do. But it actually does. Biochemistry is part of it, but you also have to learn genetics and a bunch of other things. You can't study just one piece of the puzzle and say, I can't find the rest of it. When you find out it's not a puzzle, it's just cracks on a very, very large surface of a Bugatti Veyron with bad paint job. I have no idea where that came from. The dog disrupted me. The dog's talking to me. Serial killer joke, but it's only Captain Crunch. Here are some statements he made. Scientists around the world consistently get different measurements for constants, gravitational force, and the speed of light. Yeah, different places on Earth have a different gravitational constant because the gravitational constant for Earth is based on how much rock is under you. As for the speed of light, under what conditions? Oh, those are particulars. Let's talk holistic. Yes, I'm going to be a little snotty about this, but biochemistry doesn't solve his learning did not solve the problem of him understanding why things have the basic shape they do. I want to know why a cow looks like a cow and not a horse. They do. They have a basic same layout. Bugs don't have the same layout as horses, but most bugs have a very similar or identical layout to some sea creatures, which gives you a pathway to it, and a lot of animals in the ocean have the same body layout, including whales, to a horse. They're just vestigial organs. Did you know that squirrels have a vestigial thumb? They do. No, they don't. They don't have a vestigial thumb. They're missing it. Yes, but underneath the skin there's a nubbin, and underneath it is a bone and the muscles. They're just not developed. I can wiggle my ears and my scalp. It's a vestigial function from when we had to turn our ears left and right. Now we just turn our head like that and get bad necks. Saying they consistently get different values for gravitation and the speed of light. They insist the variation is attributed to experimental error. No, I'm not saying it's experimental error. I'm saying it's measuring, if you're measuring gravity on Earth, you're going to get different constants. So definitely different values. So if you're trying to measure the gravitational constant of the Earth, it's based on how much matter's under. This is a scientist not looking into the details the devil is in. And it's consistently getting, if you're consistently getting measurement differences, you integrate them into your work, which is what people do. Gravitational constant of Earth, plus or minus value at the end, is because of those. But they say those are attributable to experimental error or statistical insignificant things. They make up proportions for dark energy and matter to fit what they've observed. Yes, because if they get it wrong and what they observe is wrong, they change what they think it is and they change what they're saying because they've been proven wrong by reality. This is not a defect, that's what the fuck is supposed to happen. And they put it into their observed paradigm. If you use fancy sounding words like paradigm or narrative, these are words that are used to, these are buzzwords, no. These are dog whistles. The reliance modern science seems to have on opinions and dogmas, this is a straw man argument, how certain beliefs in science appear to be more immune from scrutiny or inquiry, because these beliefs or scientific axioms have been shown to be working correctly. We still have a theory of gravity. We don't fucking totally understand it. And honestly, any day now, we could find out we're wrong about it. That's a good thing, because currently we don't know enough about fucking gravity or time-space to exploit it so we can leave this mudball and go off and so I can date a Wookiee. So let's get on with this. No, seriously, Wookiees are hot. I just want to take the straight path from Lord of the Rings. Science delusion is a thing he's known for. You'll see it as a TED talk or something. Dogma is grounded in philosophical materialism rather than an open-minded approach to investigation of phenomena. Counterpoint. I'm going to put this ahead, hit enter a couple of times, and put an asterisk on it. Is philosophical materialism necessary to modern science, since it proceeds by methodological naturalism, which is the biggest complaint religious people have about it? You're being materialistic, but you want philosophical materialism? You want to philosophize instead of just test it and figure out how the fucking universe works. Let's continue. It's predicated on a belief that the nature of reality is, and this is his assertion, this is a straw man, fully understood, with only minor details needing to be filled in. Yeah, like gravity. We fucking don't really truly understand it. We can observe it, we can explain it, we can predict it, but we don't fucking know how it works. No, that's just a minor detail. No, said no scientist ever. Unless you're in a specific category. Like, I don't know of any category that calls these things little damn details. They're the devil details. They're the things that make you not really ever get too comfortable. You don't want scientists. A comfortable scientist is an ignorant scientist. A scientific priesthood with authoritarian mentality, denying perpetual motion, alternative medicine, psychic phenomena, and breatharianism, allowing a person to live without consuming food for life. We can achieve godlike behavior by breathing deeply. I guess I'm mocking him at this point. The conservation of energy is a standard scientific dogma, or it's been immune from scrutiny or inquiry because we can't find a fucking way to violate it. And you want to bring up perpetual motion machines. The evidence for energy conservation in living organisms is weak. That's because they're not a closed system. Conservation of energy works in a closed system or in a system where you can observe all variables. Living things, by definition, can't. Again, you studied biology, found a bunch of defects in it. You found nagging details. Not insignificant ones, but major ones. Like maybe you can't cure cancer in your wife. You can't make the crops immune. Your failing is not a sign that physics is wrong about gravity when it says it doesn't truly understand it completely. It may be a theory by some flat earther standard, but the fact is that we can observe it and we haven't found any deviation from it. Unless you decide the earth has to be flat and then gravity doesn't work anymore. Okay, but why do that? It doesn't have any practical value. Oh, because we didn't land on the moon or some other shit. JFK. Just invoke random shit. Let's see what other turds the monkey is throwing at a Botticelli painting. Yes, I like curvy chicks. Earth isn't flat, it's got curves. Evidence for energy conservation in living organisms is weak. Where are you getting the idea of this? Now let's get on to the other ones that are very interesting statements he's made. Minds are not confined to brains. Liberating minds, from the confinement of head is like being released from prison. So says a person who might be putting a gun against their head. They call that exteriorizing 38 caliber format in the Church of Scientology. Yes, that's literally not a joke. That's literally how they refer to shooting yourself in the head. DNA is insufficient to explain inheritance. It's a 4 gigabyte thumb drive of data. I do agree with you on a couple of points here, but that's getting a little stupid. Inheritance of form, behavior, it has to be mediated through his theory, not just data compression and... Statistically, significant results show up for my work, but the major ones don't, and you're using the same argument that you said was being used to explain away errors in science. And this also explains memory. No, it doesn't, and memory is not encoded in DNA. He is also a fan of racial memory. He just doesn't say it because that was used a lot by certain people. What if the laws of nature vary throughout the day? But you have to show that that's happening. What if? Broad critique of contemporary science and scientism, and it was approved of by Deepak Chopra for trying to fuse together science and religion. A philosophical person. No. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.